Fnatic versus CLG, and wow, what a clash this could be. We've already seen Gambit decimating Cloud9. Was not expecting that one myself, because I'd called Cloud9 and lost myself some friends in Gambit doing that. But it is Europe versus North America once again. Yeah, you don't bet against Gambit, especially when they're against an American team, because the #1 seeded American team has been smashed, decimated by the Russians. Can Fnatic, the Europeans, do the same to CLG, the last remaining American hope? They were both voted in here by you guys, the fans, the public at home, who you wanted to face here. CLG beating out the likes of TSM, etc. as well to get here. Oh, Peke, very, very close. Level 1-wise, what do we see from these two? He's going to get the hook, and that's going to be Peke. Surely he's also trouble the Ignite being used. Her jumps away from it, but Flash is used, and that will be First Blood America.
And I think that's a smart play overall. I mean, obviously, CLG got the kill, but Peke flashed it away, knowing he was going to die. It made Aphromoo, it made, I believe it was Niantanso to actually flash in as well. So they committed 2 flashes for that, but they still get the First Blood, and importantly, it goes over towards that top lane. So that's going to be very dangerous now for whoever's going to be in the lane against him.
So, Fnatic realizing the situation. Of course, it's going to make the camera guy a little bit tricky. Yellowstar going very deep to pull that ward in there. They know that it's there. Is Aphromoo going to go and throw a pink there? No, because he hasn't got one on him. That's good. That would be tricky.
So they'd rather just probably start off there then. And we do see Nian returning to lane with the red pot. He is looking for a kill. He's looking for blood on whoever he's up against, and it looks like it will be Soaz. So it's going to be really cool to see if he can pull that off, and if he can really snowball his lane very hard. It's
going to be hard to pin down a Karma, though, because she's versatile, can land that leash, slow you down, speed herself up, everything. So he's just going to keep it at a long, long range, I feel. Same with Peke. We've seen some pretty impressive niddlies so far already, and we know just how much damage those spears can do if they land at full range. But this is the bottom lane. This is the one we want to focus on, Jason.
Yeah, it looks like we do see them trying to push the lane quickly, trying to get the level 2 advantage on. But right now, none of them getting it just yet. 3 more minions for CLG side. They will hit that level 2, and they will be able to push Fnatic out, but they got to start pushing it back. And Cyanide, he's going for an invade here. He's going to catch Trix, and he has the red buff, so he has the extra damage.
We'll see whether he goes in. Trix realizes he's there, and Trix in trouble. He's going to have to get away from this one. Cyanide's going to continue harassing him, pushing him right out of that jungle. We'll go for the red. Meanwhile, Yellowstar down the bottom. The flash comes in. Has Double Lift gone too deep here? Reckless is going to turn around. He does manage to get the kill. That's a great flame. He gets the double kill. Reckless strikes back.
Oh, you see on the camera, he did a little handshake like, yes, that was so worth it. They get the double. Great job making them overcommit, and Yellowstar baiting them in perfectly. Now Cyanide stealing away the red buff from Trix. Fnatic have gotten a huge early lead in this game.
Wow, that volley right there was a blow for America, that's for sure. Soaz pushing the lane out actually against Nian. Wasn't expecting that one. You can see Nian being forced backwards and actually out-farming Nian so far. Of course, he has got that red pot, so we'll wait for these opportunities. If he gets caught out of lane, he's in desperate trouble.
It's very smart of him to do that, though, because they realize Trix won't have red buff, so he can't really be slowed and caught. If he levels a little bit earlier, he'll have all of his abilities, so he'll have the chain, he'll have the extra slows, and even a shield for himself, so he'll be able to survive better by pushing the lane now and letting it push back out to middle of it than he would have just waiting.
Interesting. Pickaxe coming straight out from Reckless there. We'll see how that works out for him. Still, yeah, I mean, the fact that he went back and spent straight away, went back and got that goal, that's worth 14 to 12 in terms of CS. I mean, that was such an early buy to pick up that pickaxe.
It really is. I mean, he lost a little bit of CS, but the lane's pushing back into his favor, so it doesn't matter in the end. And right now, CLG, I mean, if you're running an aggressive lane, you have to be careful if you do lose out early, because then that means you can't do it yet again. And in fact, they realize it's pushing, just going to wait it out here. And I want to see, are we going to have any more battles develop? Because the junglers haven't been down here just yet, as we do see Trix finally heading that way. It's just been about pure aggression out of both these sides.
Double Dawn's ring being picked up by Soaz. He's just been back to buy. The wave was kept pretty even between the two. Pink Ward being picked up by Nian as well as he's backed, as well as that Doran's blade now. So he's certainly waiting, biding his time with that red pot. We'll see whether that investment pays off just yet, but so far he's been pretty safe. The battle between the bottom lane is going to continue, and the middle actually is very even. It was square on CS a moment ago, but obviously we've just seen one backing off there. Trix once again getting invaded by Cyanide. I'm wondering whether he's going to battle him over this raid. You bet your life he is.
And he is doing such a great job of keeping Trix in the jungle. He does get the smite, does get the steal, and he's trying to just control where because he's Shyvana, because he's so fast that he has the ability to take it. Trix is or has been.
Well, we'll see. Trix at the moment being slightly bullied by the very experienced Cyanide. He's been involved in Season 1, 2, and 3 of the World Championships. Actually, I tell a lie, he wasn't at Season 2. He was obviously in the qualifying process, but got knocked out in the European Regionals. In the end, though, shoved against that tower. He's going to get that farm back going, but Soaz on Karma. We saw Karma a number of times back in Season 3.
Wasn't convinced.
Wasn't convinced back then, no.
Yeah.
We even saw it in the jungle from Diamond Prox, and we actually had a few showings at the Worlds as well, but really only by, I think it was Mineski that pulled it out, and that's not really something we can power on. This is what we were talking about, though. If Nien can get on top of Soaz, it could mean trouble, but Soaz turns it back around, puts that leash down, and just an equal trade.
And in the end, he still has that red pot. He needs to go for a kill soon if he wants to make it effective. Otherwise, he just wasted all that 350 gold. So right now, he needs a kill potential. Even put the pink ward down like you mentioned earlier, and yet it didn't spot the ward that Soaz used. So either way, he's still going to spot someone coming. And right now, Cyanide still just sticking to the jungle. Hasn't made his presence known. Obviously, because he's Shyvana, he can't really gank that easily on a lane that doesn't have an insane amount of CC. So he's just making sure Trix doesn't hit level 6 before him. And
this is an issue, though, because Trix has been looking to try and make those ganks. He went down the bottom, but they knew he was there. They'd already backed away, and Cyanide, once again, is back in CLG's jungle and taking away their farm. He's already gone in, taken away the Wraiths for the second time running, going to take away the entire top area of the jungle. Trix is hurting here.
It's such a slippery slope because when you're the jungler and you start to get counter-jungled, you have to invest your own money into wards, which you see him have right now to make sure he can cover his entrances, cover his buffs. And when you are forced into wards, obviously you can't buy the other items you need. So it's really starting to hurt out a bit for him. CLG needs to make sure to ward a little bit better just to help him out if he wants to be able to get back in this. And right now, Cyanide coming to this top lane doesn't have red buff, but gonna scare Nien away, and that's finally the first gank we've seen.
Just gonna run on by. It's like, yeah, you know you're there. Well, that's the ultimate being used there. Now, Hemo Plague won't have enough to take down Peke. He just heals himself up. That's also the danger of an Italy. He can just heal himself up. Not only the spears that are the strong point, the heals. Once he gets that ability power built up, they can be such huge heals.
They see
but
Trix
CLG
coming.
on the red buff invade.
They see him coming. Looks like all 4 members. No, it looks like Reckless will stay farming away. They just want to at least be able to spot this, maybe clear it back up. Trix doing a great job of doing some counter-jungling himself. Does pick it up. Cyanide coming in from the side. But they should be able to skate. Oh, the Ash Arrow!
Straight into the arrow that goes on towards Aframu. Aframu does have flash available. It's Trix zones in on towards Peke. Peke pretty low. That's a good hook onto Cyanide. But Doublelift's going to get focused at the back. Doublelift weaves in the barrier. Can he get away from this one? Cyanide's going to jump on towards him. Has he got enough damage to get him onto the tower? I'm not too sure. One more hit should do it. Yes, he does. Doublelift goes down, but looking back in the jungle, they're chasing on towards Trix. Trix forced to flash in towards the pit. You can see Peke continuing to chase, despite the fact he's very low on health and mana. They may turn this back around on towards him. Will he land the hook? Yes, he will. Peke's in trouble. He's going to go down. He went too deep, and COG get revenge again.
And a good play by both teams. Great job by Fnatic to make their presence known, to stop that red buff from taking away, even though it was eventually in the hands of Trix. But luckily for COG, they do pick up the kill. But Cyanide, in the meantime, he goes for the red buff again. He's going to deny another buffer away from Trix, even though he did lose his own.
Yeah, Nien, while that was all happening, the battle at the top lane just continued farming process. Nien was farming between the lanes, but Cyanide steals away the red buff. Nien will be back in off here. They know that he's there. Actually going to try and track him down, but he's already going to be gone before Cyanide gets around there. Peke on Nidalee, 0-2-0.
Yeah, and in his lane, he's just, I'm assuming, looking to farm because he's not really going to be able to 1v1 Link too easily. Once you're a Vladimir, you get some sort of spell event, which he currently does have with that revolver. It's very hard to kill him, so he's pretty much just trying to keep his farm up, trying to keep his money coming. But one thing I noticed, look what Doublelift has. He picked up a Crystalline Flask.
Yeah, Crystalline Flask along with that BF sword. BF sword as well for Reckless, but he wants to just chug on through this bots. He's actually been focused and gone down twice already, though.
Yeah, and he wants to be able to make sure to trade a little bit better with Reckless and to be able to harass quite a bit more with that extra mana he gets from it. So he's trying to get control of his lane a little bit again, but he is keeping up in CS, so he's doing a fantastic job of that. But one thing he will lack as the game progresses into teamfight mode, he doesn't have it at Global Initiate like Reckless has.
One thing is for certain with Doublelift, he'll always keep up in CS, even if he's up against Wei Xiao or I guess Uzi is the recent phenom coming out of China, despite the fact he's moved into the jungle role for Royal nowadays. God only knows why they made that decision, but Fnatic at the moment, seemingly in a slightly better position. I'm not too sure because Peke is, you know, he's 0-2, but one of them was First Blood, but both of them have actually been hooks from Aframu.
Yeah,
which on an Italy is something you don't often get.
Yeah, look, I mean, unluckily for Xpec, I didn't be able to actually see Alpha Moon coming in that last one, but once we get into the late game, because I want to how is CLG going to engage on Fnatic? Because you have the slows out of Ashe, you have the roots and the String of Thorns out of Yellow Star. How are you going to approach them? They can just kite you, chip as much as possible, engage when they want, but right now Cyanide and the bottom lane looking for a gank here as the Intansa goes in on Soaz.
Yeah, late game there is a lot of kite. They're actually catching on double lift once again. He's going to go down. It's Cyanide that gets himself another kill. He was phenomenal in the World Finals, Cyanide. Certainly carried his team against Royal Club in a number of those games. But this time, once again, he's continuing on, and they are pushing that bottom turret.
And you see where their focus is. What lanes has Cyanide really ganked? Top once, but it was just a swipe by. And bottom, he's trying to focus on double lift. He got the kill on him a little bit earlier as Trix coming in.
Trix goes way too deep. What were you thinking? He literally dived into that Stranglethorns. They set him up for it, and that's just gifting another kill to Cyanide.
That had to have been a mistake. I mean, he just died for pretty much no reason. They got nothing out of that. Maybe he got 1 CS or something like that, but now they're going to lose the turret, as they do have Xpec every turn in middle, so he's going to be able to hold on to his. And overall, this game has been really focused around the bottom side of this map, which we honestly kind of expected.
Yeah, we kind of realized it. I think Fnatic may well have set this one up, but Soaz is going to get dived on behind in the end. He's going to get a good trade once again, but there is a tower there. Soaz is well aware of that, and he's going to turn it back around towards the end. He's got a group of minions also hitting him. The Ignite goes down. There goes the slow. Puts the shield on himself. Feels he can go deep enough. In the end, though, with that red pot, is it going to be enough? I don't think it will. Soaz gets the kill.
Oh, that was so well played. Soaz knowing his limits, just so damn good in that top lane. Remember, he was crowned the best top laner at the All-Stars, winning out against everyone he went up against. And just proving it right there. Went for a triple Doran's ring because he wanted to have that help to survive, the extra regen to harass. And the Intansa, if he's falling behind, if Double is falling behind, this is not a good sign for CLG fans out there.
Yeah, if anyone knows how a trade's going to go, it generally is Soaz. If anyone watched that 1v1 that happened
on Shy
in All-Stars, on Shy of all people, he really took it to the limit, I think it's safe to say. Reckless, though, back in his bottom lane. Look at him now. Infinity Edge is well under complete. That's going to be the Hemo play coming off, but again, just heals it off, continues to put the traps down, didn't manage to land it on towards Link, didn't land that spear either. Link's doing a very good job at dodging those spears.